It's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day. Happy Earth Day, everyone. Here in San Diego, it is an absolutely glorious day. Wolfie, one of the house cats, is crying, wanting to get out, and I don't blame him. So today is Walkabout Wednesday, right? What an incredibly perfect day for Walkabout Wednesday. I want to throw a special shout out to my baby boy John in Los Angeles. I miss you, Marianne and Lucy, so much it hurts. Our doves have not come back. Some of you have been asking about our doves. They started nesting here right before the onslaught of the rain that we had, and we haven't seen them since. So if any of you know anything about the nesting habits of mourning doves, feel free to enlighten me. I'm not going to bother this yet. I want to give them time. Look at the little babies on my myrtillo cactus. Aren't they so cute? We're getting some new babies there, and also a ring of little flowers are starting to surface. I don't know. I think my flamingos have grown. No? Hannah doesn't think so. Okay. Oh yes, and Big Bertha, look at all of the buds on her. I don't know, she might pop next month. I know most of your cacti are blooming right now, but remember, she's pretty much in the shade, so that's why the blooms are delayed on her. That variegated milii that was over by the Sun Glow agave that was crowding it, and I just was, not sure about, I decided to pot up right here, and I'm very, very happy with showcasing her. Guys, look. I don't know. I'm obsessed with the lithops right now. And look. There's little baby lithops. Isn't that the cutest, sweetest thing ever? Yeah, so all my little collectibles are doing really, really well. The butthole cactus got hammered by snails in the winter, unfortunately, and that's what that is. You can see the damage, but we're also getting a lot of new growth, so I think we're going to be fine in a matter of months. This is a crest. It's very pretty, and once all of that grows out, we'll be in super duper good shape. Just by way of an FYI, I am getting really bored with my aloe Eric the Red. This guy throws off the most spectacular red plume of a bloom. It hasn't done it this year. I don't remember it doing last year. It's not red. I haven't messed with it. I think I'm going to, and perhaps in a video, by way of warning for all of you who get emotional, by way of a video, I might pull this out and go ahead and behead it and reset it, because I want to inspire color. We got some cute little blooms on the Solisto cactus too, coming along. Really, really happy to see that. This little experiment hasn't netted any results yet. This was the Fred Ives stump, but this is very new, so I'm not concerned about it. My little leaf propagations, some of them are propagating. See this, where this has thrown off some little air roots? That's a very, very good sign. As a general rule of thumb, if you can wait for your little baby to get the size of at least a dime before you transplant it and remove it from the mama leaf, that's best. But in this case, like what you see right here, you can see that the mama leaf is completely and utterly desiccated. She has nothing left to give. So I should probably go ahead and plant this baby ASAP. Okay. Oh my gosh. Yes, things are looking so good. Okay, so yes, I cleaned up this area here around this agave. I had that milii back here. I had a big stand of Aeonium kiwi right here, and it was just looking really, really crowded. So I like the look of this better. I also planted a little collection of plants right there in the front, and you can see that the kiwi are burning. This is going to be grim, I can tell already, since we're coming into some hot weather here in San Diego. So there's two choices. I can either just let it ride. It won't die, but it's going to look pretty bad for a while. Or I can try to shade this area with an umbrella. I think I'll just let it ride. Really, really happy with this area. You remember in yesterday's video, I took out the Veombi and planted a Fred Ives. I also put some of that cotyledon, some of those cuttings right there to kind of flush that out. And look how amazing a combo that is. The cotyledon and the Fred Ives. Very, very nice together. Also, I didn't have hardly any more of these black pebbles. This is Mexican Beach pebble, probably 3/8, and I wanted to spread it through here, but I didn't have enough in the garage. So what I did is I took what I had, which were slightly larger pebble, and I just sprinkled that on top of this Southwest Brown gravel. And it, you know, it's not perfect, but it worked. I didn't want it to look too abrupt with just the Southwest Brown. It was just a lot of Southwest Brown. So just sprinkling some black pebble kind of draws out the black in the other areas and ties it all together. So feel free to mix and match with your rocks. That's something that I haven't really experimented with very much in the past, that I'm really excited about doing once we are set free and I get back out to install. You will note that we are in the shade and our little spoon is still looking very, very adorable, as is our little bracelet. And our little cactus that rotted that we just set on top of the rock is still looking very good. So I think if we just leave this alone, it will be absolutely fine. Also giving it, I think the most lovely thing you can do for your plants if they're struggling in any way is get them out of the sun and put them in the shade. They will thank you for it. Even your cactus. Don't water if your plant is struggling. You know how different it feels when you move from the sun on a hot day into the shade? Well, your succulents feel just as good about it. This little toolbox is also a project that we did at the beginning of quarantine about 3 weeks ago or so, and it looks amazing. You see there's no burn on any of those plants because it is not being exposed to sun, just lots and lots of bright, indirect light. I posted a photo on my Instagram at Laura Loves Succulents yesterday of this Ruchia. This just, I don't know, I was feeling the feels yesterday, and that Ruchia just for some reason gave me hope. Those little pink flowers were so magnificent. That is a really tough leathery ground cover and is an absolute winner if you're looking for one. Ruchia. Okay, dokie. We haven't checked in on our Agave attenuata variegata in a couple of weeks. Remember, I reset this as a cutting in this hole. Oh, she's in there. Yep, she is not budging. I am actually shocked. I'd never expected it to root that hard that fast. So that is amazing to me. Oh, and yes, the little yellow watering can, once I was able to step back and look, I wasn't feeling it here either, so I moved it over here behind the fountain. That story behind that little yellow watering can is I found it at a thrift store about 10 years ago when I was just getting started with succulents, and it's got a little bit of sentimental value. So, you know, you can put some sentimental things in your garden, just make sure they work. What I did here is, once again, I went into the garage, pulled out what rock I had, kind of mixed and matched it. You can see we've got Vegas pink, we've got sunburst pebble, we've got gravel, we've got, geez, I must have 4 or 5 different kinds of rock here. I've even got some seashell mixed in, and I'm really happy with this. I like it a lot. I put one of that Agave attenuata variegates in the ground here, one of the little babies. And then also, take a look at this. Okay, now that's okay, right? You know, I started with height back behind the pot. I wanted to anchor this pot visually in the ground. So I started high and I kind of worked my way down. And it just felt unfinished to me. So I scrambled around in the front yard, actually in the side yard, and I found this contrasting black piece of granite. See how that just kind of ties it all together? I'm really, really feeling that. I like that a lot. So if you're looking at your installation and it looks a little flat, bring in a rock. And in our raised bed, everything is decided to bloom. We've got Aeonium kiwi here that's getting ready to bloom. This is a monocarpic plant, so once this is all finished, I will be cutting this mama down. But you can see here that her babies are fine. I know you're going to ask everybody, what is that plant next to it? This is Euphorbia antisyphilitica. It's in the spurge family. For contrast and texture, it is a winner. Doesn't get more than about this high, and it spreads very, very slowly. Okay, what else? Oh, we had an accident with our little Aeonium sunburst cuttings. Remember, they had gotten wet and rotty after the rain, so I took them all out of the chicken planter and just kind of tossed them behind. Well, some animal, probably one of my cats, decided to play with them, and these things were scattered all over the place. So I went ahead and put them back in the chicken, and I don't see that they're rooting yet, but they've also hardened off. They're not rotted or mushy or anything. So these now, I think, are going to be just fine. Extremely important as we come into warmer weather to shade any cuttings that you may be working with. Now remember, I did this raised bed planter a week ago, 2 weeks, 10 days, let's call it 10 days. And I put this Aloe Cameronii in as a cutting because I wanted you to see how fast it turns red. It was bright green when we put it in, and you can already see, since it's a cutting and it's so stressed, that it's starting to turn that wine-ish blood colored red. In another couple of weeks, this thing will be very deeply colored. This little cuttings arrangement that I put in this moss hanging basket is looking a little meh. It's desiccated a little bit, you know, it's shrunk. This is why I always say cram a lot of cuttings into your arrangements, because they do shrink before they reroot. This little Aeonium here, I don't know, I might have to replace that. It's not looking the greatest. Oh, I went ahead and potted up my cotyledon cuttings, the leftovers from the area that I worked in yesterday. And this is another Fred Ives stump that I took out of the front, and I said I would just stick it in here and y'all could see if it would do anything. And you can see there it's got a tiny little baby started already. So that makes me very, very happy. And this is the future new and improved Garden of Death. This is Greg's grill, obviously. And since his cardiac arrest in August, you know, we've cut out meat, so what the heck is the point of it? He has agreed to let me move this to the garage, which is like last chance corral for stuff. It goes from the garage to the street. But this is the area where I'm going to organize all of my Garden of Death plants. So we'll work on that next week. I used to be able to get Echeveria imbricata all the time at my wholesaler, and then it just dried up. So when I found a stand of this at one of my clients' gardens, I grabbed one to start here in my yard. And I just tucked it in here as a cutting probably a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago. Wow, it's really in there. I'm amazed. I'm not going to be able to get that out. So that means that this little cutie is going to start throwing off little rosettes all the way around, which just excites me no end. We have our little Fred Ives here that I also set back in as a cutting, and it hasn't rooted as fast, but it is definitely getting a start. There's some little baby air roots on there, so that's exciting. I'll go ahead and tuck that back in. Oh, and if you have a Pachypodium, some of you have commented that your Pachypodiums are dead. No, they're not. They're just wintered. Now that the weather has warmed up, you are going to see green, new little cute little Madagascar palm leaves really, really quick. So this is just a fantastic phallus. I'm very, very proud of it, and it will leaf out in no time. This is my Aloe-plicatillus. You know this plant. Look at that beautiful bloom that it's got. And I even have a bromeliad that has been in this shell for years. This area of my garden gets some pretty serious afternoon sun. So I'm really proud of that bromeliad, that it has done so well. Well, that's about all I got for today. I'm excited to get out and do some more work in the garden. Again, I wish you all an amazing Earth Day. Take care. Have a glorious day. I love you so much. Thank you all for the support. This has been Laura of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day and your Wednesday walkabout.